like a star, but only strictly where I'm famous. I'm in this for the longest haul, like we'll see where it takes us. I'm throwing back these double shots like whiskey here is weightless. Cause this career I chose was even riskier than Vegas, yo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Colby Rebel Show. I am your host, Colby Rebel, where my goal is to answer that question or make that connection. And connection we will do tonight with a very, very special guest in the house with us. But before we introduce our amazing guest, just want to go over a couple things that we do have coming up very, very shortly. First and foremost, I'm very, very excited to be working again with Lisa Williams for Mastering Your Mediumship. We are so excited to do this. This will be March 18th. It's an all-day online event. Many of you know that Lisa is one of my mentors, but also a very, very amazing friend. She's incredible, and we've taught together so many times, so we really love the cadence and really what both of us are able to help you master your mediumship. So make sure you grab your tickets. It's going to be Saturday, March 18th. And again, it's all day, so you get all day with both of us, which is going to be a lot of fun. We also have spiritual business mentoring coming up. This is going to start Thursday, March 23rd. It will run for 4 weeks, but really the idea, we get together in a small group and you, along with other soulpreneurs, come together to help build and develop your spiritual business. What is it you need? No matter the step you're at, we really work together to help you take that next level, take that next step in a very, very supportive, collaborative group. Also, so many of you know I have written 3 books. We have a little surprise coming out soon, but technically I've written 3 books. So I decided to help other spiritual soulpreneurs write their story. What is your story? And if you've been thinking about writing a book, maybe Spirit's been giving you that nudge, this is the time to take the author workshop. So this is coming up Tuesday, April 11th, actually. And what we're going to do is help you with your spiritual author. What is your story? How do you want to tell it? What are your next steps? Okay. So there's so much going on. If you just visit colbyrebel.com, you're going to be able to see everything coming on. But I know many of you have been listening to me talk about ParaPod. But before we talk about ParaPod, I want to introduce you to our amazing, fantastic guest. So our guest is very, very special to me. I've known him for so many years now. And literally, if there's anyone who ever helped me launch and get my podcast out to the world, it was this man. And he is so gracious, generous, incredibly smart, and into everything and anything paranormal. So he literally is the perfect expert to have when we're talking about all things paranormal. So I'd love to introduce you to Tony Sweet, who is the owner of UBN Ghost Studio. He is Truth Be Told host and, of course, ParaPod Festival's founder. Hi, Tony.
Hello. How are you, Colby?
I am so great, and it's so good to see you, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing wunderbar. Thank you very much.
You have so much going on. You've been so busy. Yes.
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 A lot going.
It's great, though. It's good. So most of people, just so people know, you have your own company called UBN Go. And really, you are a network that brings everybody together to put out their podcast. What is it they're doing? What is it they're showing? And you have an incredible team, which is located in Burbank, but you have an incredible team that can go virtually, in location, creating these studios, and they engineer, help get all your shows out there through your network, UBN Go.
Exactly. I've been doing it a long time.
A long time. I remember back when we were in Hollywood back in the day.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So, but beyond the UBN Go, there's a podcast that you've had for such a long time with a massive, massive following, and that is Truth Be Told. Exactly. Exactly. All things paranormal is what I like to say. And in that, it's so interesting because you always have these incredible guests on, and there's a lot of talk about UFOs, Bigfoot, all this stuff that happens. I kind of, for me, it's funny because I will believe all day long that spirit is around us, that our loved ones are around us. But then when someone says, "Oh, aliens are contacting me," I'm like, "Really? Are you sure?"
Right, right.
So, but you've done so much. I mean, you've read a lot. You know a lot. I know it's a passion of yours. What are your thoughts about UFOs, aliens? Do they exist? Are they around us? Is the government getting around to not being able to hide it? Like, what's going on with it?
So, I started the passion, I think, with my family because it started as a kid when my family, my mother, my two sisters, my brother, and myself, we did actually see a UFO outside of my little town in Kansas, Granola, Kansas. And we saw a UFO floating over a lake. Where I'm from, it's about 300 people in the town, and that's cats, dogs, and cows. And so I think that started the passion of really looking into what else is out there besides just stars in the sky. So do I believe? Of course I believe that there's something out there. Do I know what they are? No. I mean, I think I've had close to 800 episodes of Truth Be Told, which is a lot of episodes.
That's a lot of episodes.
I've interviewed pretty much everybody from ancient aliens and UFO files, everybody you can think of. In fact, a lot of them will be at ParaPod. I was just at Conscious Life at the ParaPod Festival coming up. But like a lot of people that do, they always say theory. They're theorists because we really don't know until they land in front of us and tell us exactly who they are and what their agenda is. We don't know exactly what they are, but I do believe they're there. I always say that even the Catholic Church have said, there's something else out there. And I remember interviewing this guy. He was from NASA, and we were talking about the planets that were being discovered. And he said, in the 80s, there were just a few hundred, maybe even just a little bit, a couple thousand planets that they possibly think is out there. But now with all the technology that we have, there's hundreds of thousands of planets out there. And a small percentage of those could actually sustain life like ours. So for us to say that we're the only living beings in all the galaxies and universes is really kind of ignorant on our part.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense too, right? Because how could we be the only ones?
Right.
So
we're not that special.
Yeah. No, but we like to think we are, right? But
yes, we do.
But it is interesting, and it's interesting to see, what's coming about. I think it seems like technology advancing, right? With technology, the cameras and things like that, it's going to be, I think it's going to be harder to hide overall. Don't you think, with like mass communication?
Right. For sure. For sure. I mean, if you think about how fast from, my grandfather was born in 1903. They were still using wagons. No computers, barely any phones. Phones were, just a box on the wall with the, wire, a woman in the back, somewhere in town.
Yeah.
Little holes. Now, we are a little over 100 years later, we're, flying to the moon and going to Mars and self-driven cars and all kinds of stuff. And to think that we are that intelligent to create this much technology by ourselves without some help, I just don't believe that. I mean, I think we're very intelligent, creative people. I do believe that, but I just feel like we've had a little boost.
Do you think you'll ever get another visit other than the one at childhood?
You know, they say a lot of people that have been abducted or had visitations, a lot of times people, it's actually runs in the family. It's like almost like a psychic ability. A lot of people on psychic, I'm like, probably there's a lot of people in the psychic families. My grandma, say, oh, my grandma was intuitive. My great grandma was intuitive. And I think the same with alien abductions. So alien visitations, people definitely, it's kind of a inherited thing. So I may have been visited in some form. I just may not remember it.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they had your granddad and they say, oh, we loved his granddad. Let's go get Tony, everyone.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's
my brother. They might not.
No, maybe they'll just put him back.
Right. Send him back.
So it's interesting because I think, again, all of that experience that you have. Also, what about Bigfoot, though? And is there a difference between like Bigfoot and what's it called? Sasquatch
and Bigfoot and
are they the same thing? Or, are they the same or are they different?
Well, they have the Yeti, they have the abominable snowman, they have Sasquatch, and then they have Bigfoot. And I'm sure I think even in Native Americans they call it something else. I don't remember, but Bigfoot, I think a lot of people are starting to intertwine aliens or extraterrestrials with Bigfoot, because a lot of times where there are Bigfoot sightings, there are also a lot of UFO sightings, and to being able to appear and disappear very quickly and not leave a trace. So a lot of people think they're interdimensional travelers, which could, be such as like an alien race. So a lot of people are starting to connect those two together.
That's so interesting, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. My sister Susie, she just passed away a couple of weeks ago, but years ago, they used to go out clamming. In Kansas, they have these, the rivers, but they used to also go and dig clams up in the river, and they would, because they can use the clams for medicine and all kinds of stuff. And they actually said they saw a upright, hairy creature. Of course, they may have been, smoking a little bit, but no. But they said that they heard it, they saw it, and it looked like an upright creature, very big and tall. So, they never saw where it went and, saw any footprints, but they did say they did see some stuff. Like I said, I've never seen a Bigfoot, but it would be fun to go out and hunt one or seek one.
No, I'm telling you, I mean, I don't mind dead people waking me up, talking to me, coming through. But if I'm out camping somewhere and there's a Bigfoot, I will be the first person to run. I won't even be able to do the bear move. No, I'm talking about
If I was with Colby, she would push me down. And
get out here.
Right. He's more meat.
And I am so sorry to hear about Susie. My heart goes out to you. But if there's any beautiful silver lining, she's home with Mama. So I think, keeping Mama company, and Mama had everything ready. So that's it. Very true. Now I want to talk about this ParaPod festival because A, it's the first one ever, and B, you created it.
I did.
And it's coming up. And so first and foremost, let's tell everybody what ParaPod Festival is.
All right. So I'm going to actually start how I created it and why I created it.
Perfect.
And as you know, we are content creators.
Yes.
And so a lot of us that create content and have done it for a long time, we don't really get the recognition. Not saying that I was looking for recognition. In fact, I can't even qualify for the awards. And congratulations by being nominated, by the way.
Thank you.
But for me, I just felt like it was time for us to shine, because a lot of, listen, the authors and the TV show hosts, they deserved it, they earned it, but they're the ones that usually get the speaking gigs. They're the ones that usually get the accolades. And the content creators are the ones that help create their brands, and we promote them. So I was thinking, why not create a festival and an award show that highlight their work and their contribution to the paranormal genre? And so that's how it really got started. In fact, I didn't even plan to create this festival to be as big as it is, but you know what? It's kind of like when you're making something for the first time in the kitchen. Sometimes you have to add a little of this, a little of that. It didn't taste quite right. I have to add in a little bit more. And so it ends up turning out to be a wonderful mix, and turns out to be a great tasting meal. And I think the ParaPod Festival is a 2-day event. It's all things paranormal. And the reason I say that is because most festivals and conferences really focus on one genre of the paranormal, like a UFO, and one's ghost, one's horror, one's true crime, and spirituality, and they may have little taste. But for me, I decided to make this a buffet for everyone to have a sample of everything that we love about the paranormal genre. And so I've even added a transformational garden for meditation and sound bowls or sound baths and breath work, because people ask me, how do you classify everything under paranormal? I said, because a lot of times people in the mainstream really don't know what a sound bath is, but it connects to spirit. Well, everything we talk about, from Bigfoot and aliens and all this, it's really a connection through spirit, through everything, ghosts, so that's why I put paranormal around their ParaPod Festival. So it's really just a fun event that I want people to walk away from feeling light, love, and just having a really good time, and learning things too. Of course, we want to learn things, but just having a good time, and family friendly, and just having a good time in a 2-day event, and hopefully next year, maybe even 3.
I think it's going to be great, Bill, because I think it will be such a introduction to so many people about maybe a modality within the paranormal that they haven't been exposed to.
Right.
So I know for me, to sit in on alien chit chat, I think is going to be really interesting. Like, okay, let's see. And I just feel like, I know you've got everything. You've got Reiki and crystals, and again, there's some UFO. There is some Bigfoot. Civilizations, lost civilizations, that sort of thing. Yeah, Jennifer Schaefer and I are going to be doing. We're so excited, but we're absolutely going to be doing a talk on intuitive investigation, which we're really, really excited about. And we're lucky because Jennifer and I have done this several times over the years. So it's something we both are very passionate about. And with intuitive investigation, it's so interesting because a lot of people think that it's mediumship, but it isn't. It's actually using your intuitive and psychic faculties to help you kind of tune in through things like remote viewing and understanding circumstances. So we have a really great presentation set up for everyone, and definitely excited to help people learn more about it. So I agree that you've done just a beautiful job of bringing everybody together And it's funny because, again, when we think of paranormal, it's from this world to the next, right?
Right.
And so really that's the idea. If it's from this world to the next, it's in the parapod.
Right. It's true. It is true.
Mhm.
And I think, that's why I wanted to start the event on Friday with Mentryville. And the reason I chose Mentryville, which is in Santa Clarita, so people may not know where Santa Clarita is. It's not that far. In fact, it's only 25 miles north of Burbank. So
Yeah.
on a Saturday morning, it made 25 minutes. It's not a bad drive, and it's in the middle of beautiful mountains. Most people may know that, Six Flags Magic Mountain is actually the amusement park. So if they want to have 2 days here, they can stay over and go Sunday to Magic Mountain. But Mentryville is a ghost town, and it was the first. Mr. Mentry built this town because he built the first oil well in the western states in the 1800s. So it kind of has a historical aspect to it. And so the house, the main house, is still there, standing in great condition. And they have a schoolhouse, they have a barn, they have another house, and many TV and films have been made there. Also, Return to Green Acres was filmed there, and a few Disney movies. Right.
Mhm.
So there's some history there, but so it's been known to be haunted, and so we're going to do in the daytime for younger generation, or not younger generation, kids and families that may want to come and enjoy the daytime tour of the house and the schoolhouse. And then at night, we're going to go in the dark through this home and through the schoolhouse. And we're going to see if we can rustle up some spirit. And I have to say, when I went into the kids' room for the first time during the daytime, it made the hairs on my head or my arm.
Uh-oh.
So
Oh,
I was just
wow.
like, there's definitely something there. And then there's a room upstairs that has you open the door and it has one single rocking chair.
Uh-oh.
It's kind of creepy, but it's actually fun. And then we're also doing Ben Hansen from the TV show Fact or Fake and UFO Files. He's bringing his amazing equipment, and we're going to do some stargazing. And he's got not only just stargaze, but he's going to have a big screen and explain exactly what we're seeing. Because a lot of people are like, oh, look at that UFO. Well, maybe it was just a jet liner going over or something.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to explain to us exactly what we're seeing. And so that's going to be amazing, and I think a great kickoff for the ParaPod Festival.
Oh, that's exciting. So, and then you also have an awards ceremony. So, again, what inspired the awards ceremony? Is that the creator idea as well? Like to say, let's
Yeah.
give back to the creators.
Yes, I wanted them to, because honestly, I've looked, and I could be wrong, but I'm really one of the first that I know of to have an in-person award ceremony for content creators for the paranormal genre. I mean, they have awards ceremonies for everything else. I've looked and looked and looked and looked. I could not find one. And being able to present a physical trophy put in hand, and hear the applause of the people to congratulate you on being a content creator and contributing to the paranormal genre. And like I said, and then we're going to tape it, and I'm also launching on a Roku channel. It's called ParaPod TV. So we're going to have 24/7 of all things paranormal content creators sharing their content on Roku. So maybe Colby can share something.
I love it. I love it. That's great. And I was so excited to see that the Colby Rebel Show, again, there were so many submissions.
A lot of submissions.
And to see that the Colby Rebel Show is one of the 3 finalists for Best Psychic Spiritual Podcast, I was like, oh!
And it was all through votes of the people. So the people voted, and then we had industry judges that are going to be picking the winner of the top 3. So The
Yeah.
people chose you to be as a finalist. So
It's
congratulations.
so exciting. I mean, it's so great too, because I do this weekly podcast, and sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, what do I do? And I just keep doing it.
But
I just keep doing it.
But what I'm proud of is, the paranormal to sometimes the mainstream people can still be a little hesitant to be
Yeah.
celebrating or even acknowledging it. But the city of Santa Clarita, and it's leans more conservative,
Yeah.
actually support it. They sponsor my event. And they're going, the former mayor and maybe a couple city council members will be there for the ribbon cutting to open the ceremony. So
Oh, how exciting.
how great is that? It's just amazing that people are really starting to open up. And I think a lot of people, even in the mainstream, they may not understand it, but everybody has a story. Everybody. If it's not a UFO story, it's like, you know what? I guess I did have my mother come to me in a dream, or come to me, there's something that I think everybody has something to share that they may not feel comfortable, but guess what? At ParaPod, we are going to turn the tables on the audience. We're going to have a 2-hour chance for the people while the ceremonies are going on. So the general admission tickets, they don't have to go home early. They get to get up on stage and tell their stories in front of an audience. So we're turning the tables and letting the audience tell their stories.
Oh, that's fantastic, because I think too, when people can hear the stories, especially stories from fellow community members, and it goes, okay, I'm not crazy, or I'm not alone, and I don't have to be in the closet. I can come out. And that's wonderful, because I do believe that everyone in their lifetime does have an experience one way or another. And it's understanding and identifying that experience. And again, whether that's a sign or symbol from a loved one, or a dream, or again, a spotting that we're not exactly sure, but something tells us it's XYZ. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a good reason I'm not going into the woods all by myself.
Come on, Colby, let's go.
No. But anyhow, in fact, I'm in Big Bear, and I was in the jacuzzi the other night, and it's so dark at night. And I thought, oh my God, what am I doing here all by myself? I have nothing to defend myself with. No, but it is exciting, and it is exciting to see people wanting to know more and wanting to allow themselves to be open to the experience. And also, I think too, moving forward, I think especially for those who are experts with UFO or paranormal, the more that they're able to help others understand and educate others into what to expect, what not to expect, I feel like that's going to help just people in general be way more open to all of the various experiences coming our way.
Yeah, and I think, and I've had a couple people that said to me, in fact, Santa Clarita, they're like, I'm not really into it, but I actually think this is intriguing me enough to want to come to it.
Yeah,
because I think they are curious to hear what they don't usually get to hear, because sometimes they don't have time to listen to our shows, or they don't have time to sit and watch Ancient Aliens, or or something else. So they have something in their community that that they say, oh, it's right in my backyard, so let me go try this once, and who knows, they may have an experience to where they realize that they already had an experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, with the intuitive investigation that we're doing, I think it's just so exciting, because it really does help with these cases, and law enforcement is absolutely so much more open to using intuitives, psychics, to help with these investigations. And just It's interesting. I'm absolutely addicted to every true crime podcast
Me
out
too.
there.
Oh, I
And
love true crime. That's why I added
my favorite one is DNA ID. Oh, so good.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
the thing about it is, even when you listen to it, just doing the work I do, it's almost like there's an automatic download of what happened. And then you listen to it and then you go, oh yeah, it was this person, or this is how they found them, or this is what happened. And, and it's interesting because I feel like it just brings such closure to the story and justice in some cases, right? and
Right.
and I do believe that if someone is a victim, it allows that victim to to be remembered or to be
Mhm.
validated, to be honored, for justice to come in any way. And sometimes there's things that are accidental, there's things that we don't know, but at least I feel like it helps bring closure to the friends, to the family, to the
Yeah,
community for sure, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
No, true crime is one of my favorites too. Probably equal to the paranormal, just because it is. I think as we're all our own Sherlock Holmes. We love to try to
Yes.
investigate and try to solve. I mean, in fact, Netflix, a lot of these true crime series that come out, so many people have you know how many people like YouTubers and TikTokers have solved unsolved
Oh
crimes
yeah.
because
Yes,
they've done their own
absolutely.
investigations. In fact,
Yes.
we this is another thing that makes Parapod very unique is a lot of these festivals bring in, I hate to say it, I'm 53 years old, but I'm one of the younger ones to some of these festivals. Well, I'm
Wow.
bringing in a whole new generation. I'm bringing in YouTube stars, TikTok stars. They have millions of followers, and they just blow my mind with their knowledge of the paranormal and the true crime, and they're going to do their own panels at the festival. So I think this is going to bring a whole new generation in that brings uh, that we don't see in other festivals. So I think this is
Yeah.
going to be something great.
It sounds like it's a nice, beautiful combination of education, information, and interaction.
Yes,
So,
yes,
which is
yes.
great. Are you going to have I was wondering because I didn't look. Are you, because I know you have the Reiki and the crystals. Are you going to have crystals for sale and items for
Oh yes,
sale for people? Because
we have
that'd be
we have a
great.
yeah we have a vendor marketplace. I
Okay.
know as of today we have well over 30 vendors and speaker tables that we're going to have. So people will have
Wonderful.
uh, crystals and all kinds of magic uh, uh, items for sale in our vendor marketplace. And so, like I said, and we even have a costume party. So
Oh, great.
come come in full costume and you can win money. You can actually win a cash money, and we're going to vote on who has the best costume. And then we're going to have face painting for the kids and all kinds of different things that I want to
Oh,
make it fun, because I think it's important to bring children to in fact, we have one of our vendors. She's like, I think 12 years old, and she has her
wow.
own children paranormal podcast. I was
That's wonderful.
I was
That's a,
blown away. I was like, of course. They said, is it okay if she? I'm like, of course, I want her to have one, because I think that would be amazing to
yes.
bring a younger generation in.
That's fantastic. Incredible. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I love that this obviously seems a little spirit inspired for it all to come together.
right.
And I think that's fantastic. And it seems like you had a lot of help from the people you've helped along the way. You've had a lot of help from colleagues, you've had a lot of help from
Yes,
the community, as you were saying.
yes,
And,
yes.
it seems like
I'm
this is
lucky.
only going to grow and evolve, and I think that that's going to be so, so much fun. And I can only imagine. So tell us again, it starts when to when?
So it's March 31st, Friday, March 31st, from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. at Mentryville in Santa Clarita, California. And then it's going to be Saturday, April 1st. April Fools, not a joke. It's all real. And it's going to start at 8:30, where is some of this panels and speakers, but the ribbon cutting will be at 9 a.m. That's when our city and officials will be there, and they'll be handing out certificates to many of our speakers. And then from 9 a.m. till about 7 to 8 p.m. that we're going to have, panels and speakers and all that. But for the VIPs, the speakers, and the nominees, from 6 to 8, we're having a reception. And from 8 to 12, we're going to have the ceremony. So if you want to be a part of the ceremony and the reception, you need to buy a VIP ticket, which is only $175, and that gives you access to all 2 days for everything. Everything is included. So and parking is free. I know.
Well, that's a bonus.
I mean, I remember going to some and they're like $25, $30 a day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. But this parking is free, so that's a big old plus. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. And it's going to be something. Yeah, the VIP ticket sounds like it's the way to go, honestly, because, and does that include the haunted house too?
That's included, haunted house, everything, Friday and Saturday.
Wow.
So
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's great.
And you even get a lanyard. So.
Oh, a lanyard. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited. And everybody that I talk to about it, especially even up north and like Ojai and Ventura, they're like, thank you for bringing something like this up north. And if you haven't been to Santa Clarita right now, especially, I'm hoping the rain and snow at least hold off during our time. But it's so beautiful up there. The mountains are green and snow on the top, and it's amazing up there. And so I hope people can come up and really enjoy the festival.
Well, with all of the people that you have interviewed,
oh God,
can you think of what's the craziest kind of UFO story that you can kind of remember off of the top of your head out of all of the interviews?
That is, it's a tough question because that's a lot of people I've interviewed over the years. I can tell you, maybe not the craziest, but the people one person that really stood out, and that's one reason I hate to bring it back to the ParaPod, but one reason I really am honoring Linda Moulton Howe. Linda has been in the ufology, is what they call it. For almost 50 years of doing investigation. Wow. And Linda is not one of those people. In fact, you should interview her sometime. She's one of the easiest interviews. All you got to go is, hey, Linda, what's new? And you just sit back and you let her
and that's it.
And that's it. And she is the most intelligent, and she does her research to the core of whatever she's studying. And she doesn't go just to hearsay. She goes to like the heart of the story, from the experiencers, to the abductors, to government officials, to military officials. All these people open up to her and come to her to share the stories. So I've heard a lot of abduction stories through Linda.
Wow.
Yeah, and she really feels in the next year, and she'll talk about this at ParaPod Festival, but about the disclosure coming really soon.
Wow, exciting.
So that for me, not necessarily the weirdest, but there's so many stories. Barney and Betty, their experience. Gosh, there's just so many. It's hard to choose one. It really is.
But I guess that, the thing is, when we have that old saying where there's smoke, there's fire, I mean, how many people could honestly have these kind of experiences over and over and over again, whether we are talking about a Bigfoot or we are talking about UFO or we are talking about spirit communication connection. What's interesting is that there's so many stories, and the stories have so many similarities. And even with people, there's no way they could have connected. There's no way they could have known each other. And yet, so there has to be something to all of this. And I'm very grateful and excited that ParaPod is going to do its best to expose as much of it as it can in 2 days.
In 2 days. That's a lot. That's
it.
We're up for the challenge. And I think the people that we have there, such as you and Jennifer, you guys, everybody in it are experts. I always tell people I'm not an expert. I'm just an enthusiast. I learn from people like listening to, I ran your show for many years. I learned a lot from just listening to you and watching you do your work and, interviewing Linda's and the, Billy Carson's and Robert Schock's and all these people that I've interviewed several times over the many years I've been doing this. And I'm like a sponge. I don't, I half my brain half the time can't store that much information, but I put it as much in there as I can. But so, and I think I'm really proud, like you said, of the people that have said yes to me. That for a first year. I put on it. I have to say we put on we're putting on a great show with amazing speakers.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and so excited to see you. And it's been a while.
I know,
but it's just, again, it's one of those things that it's so nice that oh my gosh, I mean, how many years have I had BIPOC? So many now, and I remember it was. For anybody watching and listening, he's the guy you have to thank for being a weekly podcast, because it was actually every other week. And then Tony was like, hey, why don't you do it weekly and I'll run the show? And we moved to a weekly episode, and I've kept that weekly episode ever since. So it's all because of you, Tony. So,
well, I'm glad to be a part of that history of the Colby Rebel Show.
There we go. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Do me a favor, please. We did put the link here, but please tell us where anybody could purchase a ticket for the ParaPod Festival.
All right, so you can go to parapodfestival.com, and just for your listeners, your followers, if they use the code Colby10, they can get a 10% off. So for that $175 for VIP, you'll get $17.50 off, which is a great deal. That almost makes it $150 you can spend on a pair of shoes. This will give you 2 full days of entertainment. You can't even go to the movies for 2 hours and buy popcorn and all that stuff for less than $100.
That's true.
So
is it going to be Colby, all capitals, lowercase, just so to make sure they get the code in right?
Just put Colby Rebel. It should take
Colby 10. Okay, perfect.
Colby 10. And so just parapodfestival.com, right in the center, click buy tickets.
Thank you. Now, I do want to show everyone your podcast. So this is Truth Be Told, everyone. Tony Sweet, he is the producer, the host. All things paranormal here on Truth Be Told. He has incredible guests. He has amazing stories here. We're very, very excited. And of course, I do want to show you guys again, my good friend and I, Jennifer Schaefer, we are doing intuitive investigation. This will be a live presentation from 2 to 3:30 on Saturday. So we're extremely excited about that. And maybe just a second of bragging rights for the Colby Rebel Show, for the ParaPod Film Festival 2023, Best Spiritual Psychic Podcast. So thank you so much, Tony, for putting this all together. I know it's a lot of work. It's a labor of love for you. But again, you are an enthusiast, so it's going to be fantastic. Amanda wants to know, here's a great question. Amanda's saying, do a lot of people travel from all over the country? So have you seen people traveling in to do this? I think it would be a fantastic thing to travel in for, but
yeah, I have lots of people actually traveling in from New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada. Even a couple people from Texas had said they may be coming in, and there may be other people from other locations. I just haven't looked yet, but I mean, definitely we're going to have people from not just local, but everywhere.
Well, come join us from Indiana. Come join us.
Come on, Amanda. Get your tickets.
That's right. Well, Tony, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time and the energy to join me tonight to share your experiences, your podcast, and of course, your ParaPod Festival. So I will see you March 31st. And thank you again. 3 weeks away, everyone. So I will see you then. Thank you so much, Tony.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Colby Rebel Show. Be sure to follow Colby on social media at Psychic Rebel. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please head on over to iTunes to leave a review to help Colby grow the tribe. Colby is an international psychic medium, teacher, best-selling author, and speaker. She is a master teacher of the Lisa Williams International School of Spiritual Development and is the owner of the Colby Rebel Spirit Center in Los Angeles. Visit colbyrebel.com.